Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the globe, we hope. And welcome to another edition of the Dynamic Racing Series. We're at round 5 now, so we're almost halfway through another magnificent season. Tonight, we're going to be going over to Belgium, where, of course, the most recent live Grand Prix took place. I'm not too sure what the weather conditions are going to be like. We'll have a look in just a moment. But it is a one-shot qualifying followed by a 44-lap race. Of course, we will go through the championship tables as well before we kick off. Obviously, things will be kicking off rather quickly in the one-shot quali section. So driver standings as things stand. Jax Daniels leading the way once again. He'll be hoping to make it back-to-back championships. So he's got every possibility of completing that. He is currently on 75 points. 21 points clear of second place Senna, who's hoping to win his maiden Drivers' Championship. Closely then followed by Swanton on 52 points, just 2 points behind Senna and 23 behind Jax. He'll be hoping to get another championship to his record. And that is the same as DRS Syme, who was last week's race winner. Very, very good performance from him. In fact, we've had 4 different race winners so far this season, which is always good news. Then we have Smug Git, who's having a really strong, solid season in 5th place. And he also has a race win to his name as well, I think, doesn't he? Or was that last season? That might have been last season, perhaps. Then we have Lord Coleman in his first full season with 34 34 points. Yeah, 34 points. Sorry, I couldn't quite see that. Yeah, and then we have Al Newt on 23, although he has missed, I think it's at least one race he's missed, Al Newt. Might even be 2. No, I think it is just the 1. That was the USA Grand Prix. So that, of course, has hampered him. Then we have a debut from Dan Morris in 8th. Then Mr. Pickle only acting in reserve in 9th. And then Centra Finley in 10th. What we will do rather... Oh, looks as if we're almost ready to kick off proceedings here in Belgium. We'll quickly run through the Drivers' Championship for the Pro-Am section of things. Centra Finley leading the way on 78 points, but he's very, very closely followed by Sainsey on 76 points. Both of them hoping to win their first ever Pro-Am Championship. Then it's Alex Pixie in 3rd, 50 Gent in 4th with 42. Rouge Nico with 31, not racing this evening, sadly for him. I think he would be a really close contender at the top if he was able to race most weeks. But sadly, due to work commitments, he's not always able to get here. Then we have Michael JFF in the Red Bull. Then we have Nans Bulls, who I think is a reserve driver, I believe, and also a newcomer to the league. Then we have Easy Life, and then Jay Lowfield. About to get things underway here in just shy of 20 seconds. Of course, don't ready up early. Give yourself a little bit of time to get those setups correct. It's a long race. You don't want the wrong setup, especially around this circuit, that's for sure. This circuit is host to quite a lot of fast sweeping bends, as well as a couple of long straights as well. So I wonder if who's going to be going for the lower downforce for the long straights or the upper downforce. I know Swanton does tend to usually go for the higher wings. I think Smug always goes for the lower wings round here. Memory serves me correctly. I wonder if they'll be doing that same sort of tactic again. We'll soon find out, I'm sure. As I said, don't ready up too early, for goodness sake. I think Senna's already put something in the Discord chat for that reason as well. Of course, if you are joining me this evening, by all means, please ask away. Any questions you'd like to know, I'll do my very, very best to answer them. Just trying, in the meantime, trying to load up the stream again on my mobile. Hopefully it'll come through reasonably quickly. There we go. Of course, if the stream does go down at any stage, by all means, best to let me know, either via Discord or Twitch. I'll be able to rectify that situation. Same with any drivers who lose connection. I'll try my best as well to get you back into the race if I have you as a friend on the game. Do my very best on that side of things. One thing we didn't do was the constructors' standings. See if I can quickly find them now. Yeah, so leading the way is McLaren once again. I believe, did they win it last season? I think they did. I'm sure they did. I'm sure it was Jax Daniels and maybe Project Ty, two very strong drivers in each category there. And they're leading the way this season as well, obviously, with two new drivers being Centra Finley and Al Newt. I think Al Newt's won a couple of constructors, maybe. I know he's definitely won a Pro-Am championship and certainly cemented his place within the pro standings, doing a fine job. I think Finley's perhaps not too far away from that angle as well, currently leading the way in the Pro-Am sector of things. Of course, usually the league operates with a promotion and a demotion set up, but it can depend on the driver. Obviously, you don't want somebody coming down from the pro who's going to significantly dominate the Pro-Am. At the moment, it's certainly not looking that way. There's only a couple of points between Finley and Sainsey, so they'll be hoping to keep that going into next season as well. So going back to the Constructors' Championship then, Kick Sauber with 104 points. Then we have the Haas on 98, the RB, the other one, the sister Red Bull team, I can't remember what their bloody name is, on 96, the Mercedes on 83, Red Bull on 80, Aston Martin 75, but of course Aston Martin, they do have two pro drivers, that's Smugit and Lord Coleman, so it's a little bit more tricky for them in getting the points. So I think it's going to be a tall ask for them to win the Constructors, but they're doing a reasonable job. They're not doing too badly, in all fairness to them. They're just 20 points. Is it 20 points? No, it's got to be more than that, isn't it? Maybe that's 28 on the screen. I can't bloody read it. Yeah, they're a little bit behind anyway. I think it's 33 points back. So yeah, a little bit behind, but not a drastic. We are just about to kick things off here, and that's Williams in 8th, Ferrari in 9th, and the Alpine languishing down in 10th position at the moment with just 25 points. I will perhaps just pick one driver to focus on. It can be a little bit difficult going through all this, as obviously every driver seems to change every time. Go down to Jax Daniels then, who seems really slow at the moment and finds himself in 20th. I'm not really quite sure why that's happened. He seems to be a long way back from the other drivers. We'll ride on board with, I'll tell you what, let's go to a Pro-Am angle of things. Let's go for the leader of the Pro-Am. Let's go to Centra Finley and see what sort of flying lap he can produce here this evening. See his Smug's younger son. I think he's perhaps the youngest driver racing today, I believe, from the looks of things. Unless HJ Styles, I think that is Swanton's son Henry, and my nephew, I think. Could be completely wrong there, so don't hold me to that. I'm pretty sure he said he was racing today. Centra Finley has retired from the session, has Smug Git. So we will move away from Finley then. Let's go back up to Swanton then, leading the way in the Haas at the moment. Bellman at the moment looking reasonably strong. See if I can get the track map up to see whereabouts they are. We're just going through Sector 2, almost into Sector 3 and almost finishing that lap. Swanton has always been reasonably strong around this track. It's certainly one of his favourites. It's looking like that is the case again. Jax Daniels has now really improved dramatically, manoeuvring his way up into at least P2 at the moment. Round that final chicane, it didn't look overly clean from Jax there, but I think he's okay. But Swanton does take pole position with a 142.931 ahead of Jax Daniels. See if I can get the difference in lap time up. Yeah, there we go. So just under 2/10 behind Mr. Pickle, now disqualified from the session as well. Too happy with that. Make a lot of inroads to climb up that positional, up a few positions early on. So there we have it, all 20 drivers then. It's really good to see another full grid once again here in DRS. Swanton then taking first, Jack Daniels in second, Marksby in third. It's a really improved performance from him. The Sloth taking fourth, Senna P5, Coleman P6, Al Newt P7, HJ Styles in 8th, Sainsey 9th, Daniel Morris in 10th, Jellofield 11th, Alex Pixie 12th, Project High 13th, 50 Gent 14th, Michael JFF 15th, Easy Life 16th, Finley 17th, Smug Git and Mr. Pickle. I'll tell you what, one person who will be reasonably happy with that is Sainsy. He is not a big fan of this track. In fact, he absolutely hates it. And I said tonight all he wants to do is finish the Grand Prix. I mean, that's a reasonable start, isn't it? I mean, it's P9th. I think he'll be quite happy with that. Of course, we will be having a formation lap, so don't be overly concerned if you don't see drivers picking their way off really fast. Right, let's just have a look. See. So there was a no-show this evening. I'm not quite sure who it was, though. Just having a look at the weather forecast. It doesn't look as if we're going to be getting any rain today. It's looking cloudy. First 2/3 of the race. Swanton has left the session. Let's see if I can invite him back in. I definitely have him as a friend on here. Let's see if I can invite back in, invite to the game. There we go. Hopefully that'll work. Oh. Are we rebooting? Has something gone on here? Because Michael JFF, Project High, has left as well. Unless it's me who's lost connection here. Let's hope. That's not the case. Yeah, I'm not overly sure what's happening here. So if anyone can let me know, by all means, please do. I think everyone seems to be leaving anyhow, so I'm guessing there must have been something that had gone wrong. Red flag. Thank you for letting me know, Sainsy. Thank you very much. Right, so I'm guessing we're going to be rejoining then at a later point. Sadly, I didn't take a screenshot of the positions. Hopefully somebody managed to do that. But yeah, we are red flagging the race at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully it won't be too long, but of course they will have to either rerun the one-shot quali, which they may well do. Too privy to the information currently, or we will lobby crash, I believe. Red flag. Can we redo quali, please? Someone readied up. Well, we'll find out in a minute, won't we? In the meantime, I will try and get back into some sort of lobby, hopefully the right one. Anyways, right, I'll be back momentarily. I'm just going to try and find out what's going on. Apologies for this, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. I think we won't be doing a rerun of the quali from the looks of things. Still showing us off on my screen. I haven't heard any more information, so I'm a little bit none the wiser at the moment. But I think something must have happened. I don't think it was anything too major. Perhaps somebody started the lobby too quickly. I'm not overly sure. I did notice that Jax was quite a way down at one stage, so whether or not that was potentially the case there would be a little bit harsh, I presume. Perhaps not to restart it, but yeah, maybe he just didn't have the. Perhaps he was more worried about his setup, etc. Which, to be fair, if you're doing a 44 lap race, you've got to have that setup spot on and perfect. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very long race indeed, especially around Belgium, which is certainly no easy track. That's for sure. Setup has to be kind of in the middle of how you do things. It's a fast track, but also with a lot of fast bends as well, which can certainly make it quite tricky when picking the front and rear downforce. And we have just had it confirmed. No quali, just straight into the race. Yeah, somebody readied up early from the sounds of things. So nothing too drastic. Thankfully, it's nothing to do with the game itself. That would be an absolute pain if it was. But yeah, thankfully it was just an early ready up scenario. Nothing too drastic. We should be ready to start soon with any luck. But I presume either Smug or Swanson have to redo the grid. Hopefully they manage to get a screenshot or something of everyone's positions. I know Swanson finished on pole. Jax was second. I think Martsby had a really, really strong qualification, finishing third. He hasn't been up there for a little while. Really, really pleased with that, especially the Alpine team at the moment not having too much luck. I think is he the one that's missing at the moment from the? I think he is. I think it's just Marksby that is missing currently from the lobby. So hopefully, if anyone has him as a friend, by all means, please do send an invite, and we can then get going and get sorted. So you might want to miss out, bearing in mind that he qualified in the third. He was very, very strong indeed. That'll be really catastrophic for both him and his Alpine colleague, Easy Life. If they were to miss out on his potential points. Having qualified in P3. Let's see if I can find him on here, perhaps. I don't think I'll be able to, though. Because I'm absolutely useless at these things. Oh, these guys want to be... Okay, we'll accept them. I have absolutely no idea how I'm doing all this, so bear with me. I don't think I have Moxley on here, sadly. But yeah, as I said, if somebody has Marksby, then I think he might be in. We seem to be. Oh no, I think somebody's gone again. We definitely had 20 just a moment ago, unless that was me who accidentally pressed stop spectating or something. I was about to say stop spec savers then. The way I was garbling on. Yeah, hopefully he'll join again soon. Or perhaps he's having a few issues rejoining. Let's see if there's anything in the league chat. I think yeah, it's just having Master. He's just having a few issues joining, but with any luck, he'll be in reasonably soon. Can certainly happen. I'm surprised EA haven't sorted out this almost in a way the glitch. Obviously, you can get the fast restart or whatever it is, where you can just jump straight into the game. But sadly, EA haven't come up with any sort of solution that would then allow you to play online without having to do a hard reset. Uh, Never know. Maybe F1 2035 they might have something sorted, but yeah, Sing stand, nothing's changed on that thing, so you'll always have to hard restart. Sadly, um, annoyingly, it does take up a little bit of time, but it can't be helped in this scenario. And yeah, he certainly will not want to be missing out on starting in P3 because he did an absolutely fabulous job in qualifying. So hopefully he'll be able to get his way back in soon. If anyone has a prediction on tonight's race winner, that would be quite interesting to have a quick discussion about. I mean, I think I'd be surprised if Swanton didn't win, but he will have a hell of a lot of competition from Jax. That's for sure. Swanton, I'm pretty sure, has a very good record round here. Not only that, his defensive nature, his defensive work is pretty much second to none. I think Al Noob is certainly one of his disciples in that remit as well. Defensive work again from him is magnificent. But if you can defend when you're starting in P1, you've certainly got every opportunity of going on and winning that Grand Prix. And I think that probably will happen once again today. In terms of the Pro-Am, yeah, I don't know too much about a lot of these drivers. I think Finley's obviously Finley and Sainsy have been the most. I think they've been the quickest. 50 Gent is definitely the most consistent driver out there in the Pro-Am side of things. You can virtually always guarantee that he'll finish the Grand Prix, and he'll always finish in a reasonable position. Never gets into stupid, pointless fights or pointless battles. He's a very clever individual out there on the track. So yeah, I think there's every opportunity that he may come away with the P1 and the Pro-Am side of things today. Project Ty, another one. Is he Pro-Am? I think he is. I know Finley obviously didn't finish qualifying. Neither did his father and league owner Smug Git. So they're going to be battling early doors. And I tell you what, I think Finley is starting to catch up a little bit with his old man. So yeah, that'll be quite an interesting battle, especially if one of them takes out the other. I'm sure it'd be a bit of a heated household if that was to occur, especially given that both of them are having very, very good seasons indeed. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, just gentlemen in the league, and there isn't any females in this league. Unless, of course, you're doing something like transitioning or something. Apologies there if you are. I'm pretty sure you're not. But yeah, of course, don't ready up early. Take your hand away from the A button and try and maneuver it around any way you can. Yeah, just try and avoid it. It's stupid that it still happens in this day and age. I actually blame the game more than the operators. I think it's something that if you're the host, you should be the only one that can basically adhere to when you start, or it should be like a block vote sort of thing, like they do in the lobby. It surely can't be hard to maneuver it into the game. I think it's really silly how it does that. But of course, I think you're going to be given around 3 or 4 minutes to get your perfect setup. Hopefully, it's all loaded and ready to go anyway, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long. But we'll wait and see. I wonder if that had a bit of effect on certain drivers, possibly even Jack's, because he did start late. He was P20 for a hell of a long time, and all of a sudden started bursting through the field. So perhaps the default setup wasn't as bad as what perhaps it could have been. But yeah, I think that certainly had a bit of an effect on him. To be fair, I didn't think the times were overly quick either, in all honesty. I'm pretty sure that people used to get 140s or 141s around here. I'm pretty sure 142. Was it 142 that got a pole? I can't actually remember now. I'm pretty sure it might have been, you know. And then I think 143 was it P2. There wasn't a lot between P1 and P2, I know that, but I think the lap times were that fast. I could be completely wrong. Perhaps it's something with the new game. Perhaps the cars are just slower around this track this year. Again, I'm not privy to that sort of information. Could certainly be the case anyhow. But, of course, it is Swanton's wife's birthday this evening as well. So if you can, by all means, just write a quick happy birthday in the Twitch commentary section. Just slap in a quick happy birthday to Victoria. I'm sure she'll love that. Please feel free to do that. Wonder how happy she is this evening that her husband and her son are both racing. Not too sure how happy my wife would be. In fact, she might be really happy because it means she get a quiet evening. Perhaps that's the case. Perhaps Swanton's perhaps he's a little bit annoying. Perhaps she's quite happy he's racing. Don't tell him that, obviously. So I think we should be getting the proceedings underway. Of course, once again, we have a full one-lap formation lap. Hopefully then the drivers will park up correctly. If you're me, you overshoot it a few times. Hopefully the drivers can all get themselves nice purples. That'll be lovely for them, I'm sure. Okay, so we'll quickly run you through the grid then, because I have completely forgotten how it was. So we'll quickly run through all of that. So everyone then, apart from Smug Git, surprise, surprise, it always seems to be the odd one out, is starting on mediums. Smug Git is starting on the hard compound tyres. So we got Swanton in first, Jax Daniels in second, Marksby taking P3, Sloth taking P4. It's a really good qualification lap from him. Apologies not for bringing it up anymore, but that is a really good position for him. P4. Senna P5. I don't think he'll be overly happy with P5. Perhaps he is, but I'd be surprised if he was really happy with P5, considering his titled rivals, Jax Daniels and Swanton, are in P1 and P2. He's got a lot of work to do. Lord Coleman taking P6, Al Newton P7, HJ Styles. Is that any reference to AJ Styles from the WWE? Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out one day. He takes P8 then. I believe he will be racing in the Pro-Am this evening. So at the moment, he is the highest Pro-Am runner. Sainsy in P9. Daniel Morris taking P10. J-Lo Field P11. Alex Pixie P12. I don't think he'll be overly happy with his quali time either. Project Ty P13, same with him. I don't think he'll be overly happy either. 50 Gent P14, Michael JFF P15, Easy Life P16, Finley P17. It's a battle of the Smug Git family for P17 and P18. That'll be interesting off the line, see how that one goes down. Then we have Mr. Pickle in P19, and then last week's race winner now starting on the back of the grid. I suppose that's what happens when you support a team like West Ham. So you've got Arsenal in P19 and West Ham in P20. Doesn't get too much better than that when considering I am a Tottenham Hotspur fan. So yeah, I quite enjoy seeing that. As much as I did predict Syme to win the championship at the start of the season, of course, there's every possibility that could happen. I think he's going to have a tough one today. I think he's going to have a bit of a tough race. So all the cars then lining up on the grid. Also, if you do have any questions, by all means, I've got my phone next to me. The app is open, ready for questions. Perhaps not at the start. Hopefully we'll see a few overtakes at the start. Might as well actually go to positional changes. Then for the start of this Grand Prix, we're at round 5 now in the DRS Championship. And we're off then, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a reasonable start then from Swanton, is it? He does seem to retain first place going into turn 1. Senna then. Oh, he's going down the inside. Oh, there is big contact between him and Marksby. I don't think he could back out of that one. Unfortunately for Marksby, I don't know if Marksby's got any damage. We do have yellow flags out. And the JLo field is out of the Grand Prix at turn 1. Is it a full safety car? It is a full safety car indeed. Not the best start then. Very, very rarely happens in DRS. First corner incident, that is incredibly rare actually. Really, really rare, and that certainly will not help the Mercedes in their pursuit of the Constructors' Championship. I don't think they're doing overly well. Remember now off the top of my head. They could even be winning it, I can't actually remember. So positional changes then. Oh, Lord Coleman forgetting to brake there and almost sideswiping Senna there. Senna and Marksby did have a tangle on turn 1. Let's see what his front wing's like, Senna, because Marksby seemed to go over the top of him. Not overly sure who's at fault there. And Sloth's running quite wide as well. Maybe he was involved in the incident, I'm not 100% sure. Well, I'll tell you what, we're back actually full racing. Apologies there, I didn't realise it was a VSC. I thought it was a full safety car, but no, we're actually back underway in racing. Very interesting indeed then. So HJ Styles up 1 position, Daniel Morris up 1, Project Ty up 3, a great start from him, but Finley then up 5 positions and pulling well clear of his old man who's currently residing in P17, but he is up 1 position. Alex Pixie has, sadly for him, dropped down 6. He will not be happy with his start. Senna and Sloth then battling hard into the final chicane. Senna running a little bit too deep there. He's got the inside line, but the Sloth does manage to defend and retain the position well. So obviously it wasn't the best start with the accident at turn 1. I think we might have just had another. Yeah, we've got is it Sainsbury was involved in there perhaps, or was it Al Newt? It might have been Al Newt and Project Ty there, involved in a bit of a spat. I don't think it was anything too bad, but we'll go to the front then, as Jax will dive down the the outside of Swanton and take P1. He did have DRS and ERS available to him there. That is a long straight. It's incredibly difficult to defend it at the best of times, but if you get a really good exit out of, is it a Rouge, I think it's called, which Jax clearly did, it makes that overtake quite easy. Senna then also up to P4 in the meantime, and that would have been with Sloth, probably with the DRS available to him as well. Yeah, I think there's certainly... Oh, yeah, he's close enough behind as well, Senna. Close enough behind Marksby to be able to defend from the Sloth on the next DRS that becomes available to them. Let's go a little bit further down then, whilst we wait for a little bit more action to occur. Alex Pixie then, I think he's gone ahead of Smug Git now. Yeah, Smug Git now down into 18th. Mr. Pickle not having his best drive then, down in 19th, but that is what you get for supporting a team like Arsenal. Sorry about that, Pickle. Swanton, though, staying within range of Jax Daniels. We'll have DRS available to him in just a moment down the pit lane straight. It's not really a long enough straight to overtake. He'll have to wait to go through a Rouge. Marksby is just over a second behind Swanton. I don't think he'll have the DRS available to him now, which he does not. Jax Daniels setting the new fastest lap of the race at the moment, the 147.271. Go down to Lord Coleman. Too far behind the Sloth now. The Sloth feeling the pressure early on then. Daniel Morris now battling hard with his teammate. I'd be surprised if Project Ty kept him behind. Daniel Morris is the lead driver of the team. Sainsbury falling a little bit further back now. He's 2 positions down. 50 Gents up 2. Finley's up 4 now. We'll go then to Daniel Morris. He's going to try and go down the inside of his teammate here. Swanton, in the meantime, does not manage to get past Jax Daniels down the long DRS straight. Following a Rouge. Guessing Jax must have got a really good exit out of that now. It's got to be really... Oh, and the McLaren there of Al Newt going rather wide and dropping 2 positions to both the Ferraris there. HJ Styles retaining P7 at the moment. He's doing a really, really sterling job then. in the Haas. At the moment, Haas are looking like they're going to get some really good points on the board. And Swanton is managing to keep pace with Jax Daniels. That's all he needs to do for the time being. He just needs to bide his time a little bit. Going down to Lord Coleman, who is right on the rear end of the Sloth. He's challenging hard early doors here. I must admit, it's a magnificent first full debut season. I believe that is the case. I'm pretty sure he was a reserve last season that then became a full-time driver, but I think it's partway through the season. But I believe this is his first full season, Lord Coleman. He's doing an absolutely brilliant job. I think he's just about running in 6th, just behind his teammate Smug Git in the championship. But at the moment, he certainly looks as if he's going to be closing that gap, if not overtaking his teammate in the championship, which would be absolutely fantastic. We've got yellow flags out in Sector 3 then. I think it might be possibly Easy Life or Mr. Pickle, not 100% sure. But Al Newt is diving into the pits, and guessing he must have some form of front wing damage. We'll go then to the Sloth, who's battling hard with Marksby then. Senna in the meantime. Oh, I tell you what, actually, let's go to Swanton. They're battling for P1. And the Swanton gets the move done. And the Sloth now battling hard here with... I can't actually see that. The Sloth is defending. Sorry, against Lord Coleman. I thought he was battling Senna, but he is actually defending. Senna now bringing himself up into the battle for P1. He'll be really happy with his start, actually. He's done a really, really sterling job getting past both Marksby and the Sloth. Marksby now dropping 3 places, down to 6th place. Won't be overly happy with that, that's for sure. Let's go then down to Finley, who's battling hard with 50 Gent currently. Just over half a second behind 50 Gent. 50 Gent, though, he's incredibly good at defending, so I think he's going to have a very tough job of getting round the master of the dark arts. Syme then already now up 7 positions. He's seemingly coming into his own. I think he was struggling a little bit for heating the tyres early on. Seemed to make too many inroads on the opening 3 laps or so, but is now sterlingly moving his way further up the grid. He's now up 7 positions, doing a really good job. Let's go to HJ Styles then, now battling really hard with Daniel Morris, and there is contact at the rear there between Morris and Styles. So Morris just about manages to retain the position. Styles will have a DRS available to him, I believe. If it's still here, perhaps the DRS zone isn't here anymore. That's all now changed. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know it used to be on the pit road straight. Perhaps it's not there anymore. The wing certainly didn't seem to open unless push a button maybe. We'll go then to Lord Coleman, then battling hard against the Sloth here. The Sloth is defending reasonably well down the inside, but Lord Coleman down the outside. And Lord Coleman moves up into P4. Very good overtaking manoeuvre that indeed from the Aston Martin. He's having a sterling race and will try and force his way into the battle for either a race win or a podium. A lot of laps here, there's a lot of things that could still happen. The battle at the top 3 is looking very, very intriguing there. The rear end seeming to come out there on Senna. I don't think he runs traction, so that could be the reason. I think he runs either medium or no traction. Pretty sure it's at least medium, I know that. The back end seemed to come out a little bit there, but he managed to hold it together. He's got a big job on to beat the other 2, though. These 3 are the 3 that seemingly are pushing for that title. They have won a race each this season, as has DRS Syme, but unfortunately for Syme, at the moment currently residing in P13. Centra Finley now up to P11. He's up 6 positions now, having a really strong race. Surprised to see 50 Gen receive team orders and manoeuvre himself out the way safely for Syme to come on through. Syme's on a bit of a charge here. Maybe by lap 20 we'll see him up in about P7, something along them lines. He's definitely on a bit of a charge here. DRS is available still here. I don't really know why Styles didn't activate it last time. Perhaps he wasn't close enough at one stage. The activation point, I'm not too sure. So Jax Daniels is still within range of Swanton. Swanton's going to have to defend hard here. He's incredibly good at it, but it all requires a decent run through a Rouge. And I think Jax has got the better run here. In fact, he looks incredibly close. Jax is going to go down the inside of Swanton this time. He's going to have the outside line going into turn 3. and successfully navigates his way up into P1. Don't think Swanton had the best exit through a Rouge, and I think that cost him dearly there. It's Jax Daniels who now leads this Grand Prix. We've had a few positional changes between Swanton and Jax Daniels in the opening 6 laps. Senna still just biding his time, waiting for that opportunity. He almost needs Jax to pull away a little bit so that Swanton doesn't have, or Swanton to pull away from Jax, either or, so that they don't have the DRS available to them. But I suppose as well, he also wants to keep pace with P1. Depends on what you're really after. And I'm pretty sure, knowing Senna as I do, it'll be a race win. That's all he's interested about. He wants that win. He wants that first driver's title. He's got every chance of doing it this season, but he's got the other 2 ahead of him, both in the title race and in this race. He's going to have to find a bit more magic if he wants to get that maiden trophy. Go a little bit further down the grid once again. There's a hell of a lot of close battles going on, and Smugkit is one of them, with DRS Syme then. He's 4th and 5th in the championship at the moment. Let's see if he can make the move on Syme here. I don't think he's going to be able to. He's Centra Finley's not too far ahead either. It's going to be a bit of a 3-way battle here as things stand. There you go. Back up the top then. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to leave this battle at the moment, but Swanton way too far behind, going onto the DRS straight. Thankfully for him, it will allow him to reduce that gap, but Jax is looking fast. He's starting to pull away, I think. It'll be interesting if Swanton can keep chase, as once Jax gets ahead, very rarely makes mistakes these days. That was the only reason why originally he was in the Pro-Am side of things. I think it was for mistakes out on track, but he doesn't seem to make them anymore. So I think if he gets over a second clear, it's going to be incredibly tough for him to manoeuvre his way back up to P1. He's got to try and hold his nerve here, Swanton, and just keep him within that range for as long as possible. Yellow flags out in Sector 2. I don't think there's anything too major from the looks of things. No sign of a VSC or a full safety car. Oh, yeah, and the chat on the thing has finally started working. Apologies if I haven't said good evening or anything like that so far. But yeah, good evening, Senna, Bazza, Swanton, and Genty, and Sainsy. Yeah, thanks for all joining me this evening. I wish you all the best of luck in the Grand Prix, of course. So let's go down to Michael JFF then, right behind 50 Gent and Syme. 50 Gent and Syme have recently swapped positions. If that was team orders, quite possibly. It would probably make sense. I tell you what, Swanton's got a really good exit then out of a Rouge, and he's cut that gap right down. Is it going to be enough to make the overtaking manoeuvre here? It might not be. I don't think he's going to be close enough here. No, he's not close enough. He's right on his tail, but it's not enough. I imagine he probably turned off his battery halfway through that attack. Managed to perhaps save it a little bit. I think that's what Senna perhaps needs to do. Perhaps he just needs to bide his time a little bit more. He's got to try and stay in range of these front 2. They're proving quite difficult to muscle in on. He almost needs to get right up as close as possible to Swanton so that maybe they can both make a move on Jax. P1's almost a sitting duck down that long straight, especially if you get a reasonable exit out of a Rouge. I don't even think you need to have a top quality exit. I think you just need to have a reasonable exit out of a Rouge. Okay, let's have a quick look. So you're going to have to bear with me, guys. Just got to go and check on my son momentarily. I'll be back in just a second. Apologies for that. I just had to quickly go and check my son, make sure he was okay. He's a little toddler, so he was just a little bit upset over something. So he seems to be okay now, thankfully. Right then, back to the race. In the meantime, Swanton has managed to take P1. Apologies for missing that. It wasn't too good because we missed it. Sainsy now P9, battling hard with Project Ty, just under a second behind HJ Styles, who has picked up I'm guessing it's the 3-second time penalty. Yes, it is. It's a 3-second time penalty for HJ Styles. That's Al Newton now on the hard tyres after his earlier pit stop. There's been no other pit stops as far as I'm aware so far. We have lost one driver, that is J. Low Field, who sadly had an incident on turn 1. I'm sure the stewards will be looking at that one with a very keen eye indeed. The Sloth now down in P6. Moxley has regained a position on him. Let's go. Jax Daniels is just under a second behind Swanton. Swanton, though, seems to have pulled a little bit further away, which is good news for him. But this bit here plays a huge difference, and I tell you what, Jax has got a better exit. That lead is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Will he make the move? He might. No, he's backed out. And Mr. Pickle is out of the Grand Prix. We've got yellow flags out in Sector 3. No sign of a full safety car, though, which is obviously good for us racing. It would have been awful for certain drivers out there. Well, I say certain drivers. It would have been awful for Smug had there been a safety car. Bear in mind he's on the hard tyre. Alnu as well, you could probably put into that, although I think he would quite like a safety car to be brought back into the rest of the pack. A lot of work to do to gain the ground lost from an earlier incident. He had qualified in P7. It's gutting for him. Race Control has confirmed Easy Life picking up a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings for corner cutting. I suspect we'll see a few more of them as the race peters on. We're about a quarter of the way through now. We've already had a couple of incidents where we've lost now Mr. Pickle and JLo Field. We've only had one VSC though. With full safety cars, things stand. Let's go back to Senna now, who's now really brought himself into contention against Jax Daniels. But I think the battery life might cost it. Oh, he's diving into turn 1. Oh, there is contact between the pair of them. I think the move may have been a little bit brave by Senna, but it's racing. You've got to go for these things sometimes, and nothing happened in the end. It was reasonable driving from both. DRS available to Senna. I don't think it's available to Jax. Jax has fallen a little bit further behind, but no battery left for Senna then. Those red flashing rears are going off. That may have been the chance to do it. Jax Daniels will now know he's got a bit of a job to do, get himself back in the range of Swanton. Otherwise he risks falling down to P3. Swanton then now 1.2 seconds ahead. It's just about enough. Senna, on the other hand, will be keeping Jax within close range. He's got to keep him under that second mark. We go down to Project Ty, who will be thinking exactly the same for HJ Styles. And in the meantime, Sainsy 93 up into P7. He's having a wonderful race. He said at the beginning he absolutely hated this track. We've got yellow flags out in Sector 2. I think it might be, it's either Michael JFF or Alex Pixie. I think he must have had a bit of a spin or something. We're coming together between the pair of them. But Sainsy then up into P7 and leading the Pro-Am side of things as things stand, with HJ Styles just behind him, but of course with that 3-second time penalty going against him. This would be a really, really good result for Sainsy if he can keep this up. We'll go then back to Senna. I think he's just about out of range. He's going to have to put his foot down here if he wants to get in that DRS zone. Jax Daniels has really cut that gap on Swanton. I tell you what, from one lap I thought he was going to be under pressure from Senna. It is now completely the other way around. He could move up into P1 now. It's absolutely crazy. I tell you, it's been really good driving though from the three of them. Mr. Pickle then just confirming my setup to select, and it gave me a bloody shocking default. Oh dear, that is not ideal. I did wonder why he was perhaps not in your usual position. Usually always fighting right at the top, not at the rear pack. And Bazza saying, great battle up front from the top three. I tell you, it's been absolutely magnificent. I just really hope that Senna can stick with him. That's a tough couple of drivers there to stick with. I mean, he's certainly got the ability and the capability to do it, that's for sure. No getting away from that. He's just got to put his foot down a little bit now and rein them in. He's done it once before. I'm pretty sure we all believe that he can do it once again. Lord Coleman then, something must have happened to him, unless, I tell you what, he must have pitted. He has indeed. Lord Coleman has pitted and has gone on the hard tyres. I'm guessing he must have had a front wing issue, because he is now down in P10. He was having a magnificent race at one stage. Marksby making the most of that and is now back up to P4. Sloth in P5. Daniel Morris having a good race, up 4 positions, doing very, very well, up in P6. Sainsy at the moment is certainly a contender for driver of the day, P7 and P1 in the Pro-Am side of things. And now selecting to dive into the pits. Is that an early pit stop? Lap 13. Ooh, I would say that's quite early. Maybe I'm wrong. I would have thought that was quite early. I'm guessing he's going to be going for a 2-stop, unless it's a full wing change, which I don't think it was, because that was quite a quick pit stop. I'm guessing he's going for a 2-stopper then here, Sainsy. So his mediums have just gone off. It looks as if Ty's pitted as well. He's coming out on another set of mediums. So I'm guessing a lot of drivers are going for the 2-stop strategy. This track can be quite grueling on those tyres. And Mr. Pickle then just confirming in quali, my wheel wasn't working. Then no setup, such a shame. Was looking forward to 100%. 12-12 wing just gave me no pace. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the setup for this track, especially on the new game. Well, I've never actually raced on the new game, but wouldn't have a clue. Yeah, going from the old game, I used to run something along them sort of lines. That's why I was always so useless. Could certainly be the case. So Senna then reining in the current champion, Jax Daniels. He's cut that lead down to just over half a second. And Jax Daniels and Senna both diving into the pits. Swanton is remaining out on track. Let's have a look at the tyre scenario now then. As you can see it all on screen, most drivers are now going to move to the hard tyre. Will that go to the end? I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised. They're obviously going for the undercut here now on Swanton. Don't be surprised to see Swanton pit on the next lap. If his lap times are starting to drop, don't be surprised. This is where the field is going to get a little bit more sparse. I think that's the right word. Oh, well, Mr. Vehicle now just confirming he had a 5-0 wing. But that kind of does explain it a little bit more then. Felt like I was steering a Spurs ship, was just dreadful and useless. Yeah, sounds about right, to be fair. I think that's a reasonable terminology. Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. Sadly. Right then, so Jax Daniels then running very, very wide there. I wonder if he picked up a warning there. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. That might come to cost him at the end of the Grand Prix. But he's decided to whack on another set of mediums. Senna going for the hard tyres. I'd be surprised to see Senna fall a little bit further back from Jax. Jax then definitely going for the 2-stop strategy. Just wonder if Swanton's going to dive into the pits now. Does he still feel his tyres are okay? He still feels that they're okay. And I'll tell you what, last chicane, pretty good. But the lap time 149.582. I'd like to see the next lap on it. Sort of lap time the rest of the field are doing. So, well, let's go down to Sainsy. We'll see what sort of lap time he can produce. We'll stick with him for the time being. Daniel Morris now diving into the pits. And he's going to come out on a fresh set of hards. Mr. Pickle has now left the session. Understandably so. So Sainsy then is going to cross the line of 148.8, so he is quicker than Swanton at the moment on the fresher hards. Unsurprisingly, I suppose, but just wonder how long Swanton will leave it before deciding to dive into the pits. I mean, that's quite a bit quicker. Previous, Jax is going to really cut into that lead on these fresh set of mediums. Unless Swanton's just going for that one stopper, which it's certainly possible, I think. And in terms of experience, he's certainly the driver that you'd probably follow suit on. Just wonder if he's going to live to regret that decision, though, if he does go for the one stop. So Smug-Git then picking up a 3-second time penalty. That's incredibly like Smug-Git. Unlike him, sorry. He's now currently in P7. Centra Finley then coming out on a fresh set of softs. Perhaps he knows something we don't. Perhaps he's going to go for a really fast middle stint. Maybe move on back onto the mediums for the last stint. So it's a bit of a tall order, I think. But we'll see. Could be the case. You might see Jax Daniels on mediums for now, and then he'll then for the last run go on a set of softs. Could certainly be a possibility here in Spa. Jax Daniels setting the new fastest lap of the race at 146.77. That is serious pace. Have a look at Swanton's best lap time is a 147.812. I think at the moment he's running about a 149. Looking at nearly 3 seconds a lap. Surprised he hasn't dived into the pits. I think maybe after seeing that he might just come in a little bit earlier than he thought. He's going to stick with what I presume is going to be just a one stop. Senna currently residing in P5. He's now behind Lord Coleman. He has pitted, isn't he? Yeah, he has. He's definitely pitted. Pitted early as well, yeah. They've had a bit of wing damage, perhaps, unless he just gave up on the tyres. Perhaps that might have been the case, to be fair, for Lord Coleman, but he's now back up into P4 and having a wonderful race. Just over 2 seconds behind, just under 2 seconds behind season champion Jax Daniels. Marksby and Swanton are both still out on their first set of tyres, the mediums. They're nearly 16 laps old now. I mean, what would he have to run to? Would he have to run to about lap 20 before he then goes on to the hards and runs them to the end? I think that's what you probably have to do, isn't it? Go to lap 20 and then you've got 24 laps on the hards. I'm guessing that's probably what he'll do, but he's going to be a lot slower than Jax Daniels. But it does get him away from battling with him, I suppose, which might help in the long term. But I do think at the moment, in theory, I think Jax is probably my favourite to win the Grand Prix. Just eking into the lead. Marksby Swanton. He's about 10 seconds behind Swanton, which is certainly a lot less than a pit stop. But Jax will have to pit again, bearing in mind that he's now on his second set of mediums. He's got to use another compound of tyre, which I would have thought now will be the softs at the end. Easy Life picking up a second penalty of the day. That's now 6 seconds for the Alpine driver. He'll be very happy with how his teammate's doing this evening, Marksby. Michael JFF picking up a 3-second time penalty as well for multiple warnings this evening. So going a little bit further down the grid. Let's go down to the sloth battle with Daniel Morris. It is Red Bull Visa, the sister car, versus Daniel Morris in the Ferrari. I'm guessing Daniel Morris was then born in 1996, which makes him younger than me. How sad. But not younger than a few of the drivers in tonight's lobby. Of course, there are a few really old gits. And Swanton is now diving into the pits. Jax Daniels and Marksby having a bit of a collision there. I wonder if that has maybe damaged Jack's front wing. It was a bit of a hefty swipe there, but Marksby now moving to the lead. Senna setting a new fastest lap of the race at 146.666. And that's on hard tyres. That's a really, really good lap. Swanton now going on to the hard tyre. We've got yellow flags down in sector 3. I think it is for 50 Gent in the Haas. Sorry, in the Kick Sauber. Let's go to the sloth battle, I think. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what. We'll go up to Jax Daniels at the moment in the battle for P1. He should easily be able to get this positional change here. And it's a wonderful overtaking manoeuvre down the inside. And Jax Daniels takes P1. Marksby and Jax Daniels will both have to pit. So Senna, though, he's not that far behind Marksby. And I tell you what, he's not that far behind Jax Daniels either. I wonder if Senna will push those hards all the way to the end. I mean, there's every possibility. I think it'll be tough, but there's certainly every chance that could happen. Then go back down to the sloth battle with Daniel Morris. He wasn't able to make the manoeuvre on him, sadly. Munkett is in P6 at the moment, but he does still have to pit. He started on the hard compound tyre. Central Finley's had too much luck on those softs. He's currently down in P14. He certainly won't be overly happy with that, especially with Sainsy leading the Pro-Am side of things. Things stand, Sainsy will be moving back into the lead of the Pro-Am Championship. He'll be hoping to win his first ever one. And in the meantime, Senna and Marksby battling it out for P2. Then in Sector 3, Senna moves his way up into P2. We got yellow flags out in Sector 3 as well. We seem to have a lot of yellow flags coming out in Sector 3. Oh, Senna then losing his back in there, but Marksby deciding to stay out and do another lap here. Senna, though, I suspect will now start to pull clear, being on much fresher tyres. I should imagine Marksby's are starting to scream and eke away. It's very, very difficult for the Alpine driver. He's doing a phenomenal job, though, keeping that going. And I tell you what, I think he might just get Senna. Not on a Rouge, but afterwards in the DRS bit. I think he's got every opportunity here of retaking P2. It's going to be close. Will the Alpine make the move? He's going to... No, he's decided to back out. Senna must have had a hell of a lot of battery there. I wouldn't be surprised now to see Senna pull clear with the much fresher tyres and sharp sweeping bends and corners coming up now. Yeah, already a second behind. Not surprising, really. Nothing to do with driver quality. It is literally just those tyres. Of course, driver quality does come into it as well, a little bit, I suppose, with Senna being certainly one of the top drivers now in the league. But you know, Marksby's one of them as well. Certainly can't deny that. So Michael JFF battling hard now with Alex Pixie in front of him. Michael JFF, though, does have a 3-second time penalty. Alex Pixie certainly not having his best race. It was my favourite, I think, for the Pro-Am side of things. But Sainsy and Centra Finley are certainly owning that at the moment. Lord Coleman then now up into P3 as well. Marksby, I think he's decided to pit too late. I think Swanson maybe just about got it. Maybe right on the long run side of things. Not sure if he's got it right overall. Marksby staying out yet again. I think that's suicide, to be honest. 24 laps on the hards. You've done 20 laps on the mediums. I think you'd have been okay. Whether or not he's just waiting for that safety car to come out, which I think you'd be very, very unlikely if that was to happen. Given that we've had a couple of cars crash out and no safety car was on show. Project Ty staying out, Syme diving into the pits on 18 lap old mediums. They'll now surely be coming out on hards, running them for 24 laps or so. They'll definitely make it to the end. Lord Coleman and Marksby battling it out hard here. Marksby doing really well, actually, to keep pace on those really old crucified tyres. He's doing a really good job, in all fairness to him. Senna now just over 3 seconds behind Jax Daniels, but of course Jax will definitely have to pit again. He'll be hoping and praying for a safety car, not just yet, but around sort of lap 35, I presume. We're going to be doing another 15 laps or so on their mediums, which will take him to lap 21, but of course he will have a lot lower fuel ratio unless he pits earlier for hards. Maybe that was the wrong call. I don't know. Just don't know. Swanton now just under half a second behind Marksby. Marksby seemingly struggling through sector 2. Not really surprising given his tyre grip. He's just waiting a little bit too long. Bear in mind he wasn't that far behind Swanton before Swanton pitted. Marksby now, he's got the inside line. He's going to defend to the very end here. But Swanton really get the position. I think Marksby, surely, yeah. Marksby wisely now diving into the pits. I think he's made the wrong call, Marksby. I think he's just stayed out that little bit too long. Sadly for him, the Sloth goes around now into P5 as well. Not too many battles going on at the moment. We will go down to Michael JFF and his battle with the Alex Pixie in the Williams. Red Bull will have DRS available to them. Interesting to see where Marksby comes out. It looks like it's going to be P10. He'll have fresher tyres than the rest of them ahead of him. That's his one saving grace. Michael JFF thought about making a move there, but has decided, I think, wisely to back out. Marksby on fresh hards now. They will be cold. He's got HJ Styles ahead of him in the Haas. Will be a move this time round. We'll go back to Michael JFF now, who is right on the tail of Alex Pixie then. Will the Red Bull be able to have enough speed and power to make the move on him? I don't think he will. I think he must be running really high wings here, Michael JFF, or perhaps he's just playing the long game a little bit. Syme now overtaking 50 Gent. I think it was more of a team thing. 50 Gent just manoeuvring his car to the side there to allow Syme to run on through. Again, I think Syme, another driver, I think just waited that little bit too long. We might see something at the end. That's something all them people who pitted earlier, perhaps their hards will just fall off a cliff. I think it's reasonably unlikely that will happen. But Syme will be hopefully desperately praying that that does happen. Especially given that some of these drivers, Sainsy, he's 8 laps old already. We've still got another 22 laps to go. Daniel Morris is 6 laps old. Swanton's 4. Lord Coleman's 11. We've still got half a race to go. He'd have to run them 33 laps if he wants to see it to the end. I don't think he's going to be able to do that somehow. Senna now cutting that gap. He's now under 3 seconds behind Jax Daniels, who is leading the way, but he is on medium tyres. He also started on medium tyres, so he will definitely have to pit again. I don't think Senna will. 8 laps old. Oh, yeah, I just don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Really not sure on the tyre scenarios. You know what? I might have to Google it. Might have to Google it and see. Let's see what the old Google says. I wonder if we'll have any information. And still nothing that I can actually see. Yeah, no, can't find anything. Thought I might be able to, but no, can't find anything, sadly. So, we'll go to the battle between Swanton and Coleman. Lord Coleman then now picking up a 3-second time penalty. I think that really puts pay to any chance of a podium position finish for the Aston Martin driver this evening. Swanton will have DRS available to him now. I'm pretty sure he will wait for the next DRS zone. This one seems a bit pointless to me. I almost feel it would be better off in sector 3 than having it on the pit lane straight. It just seems a bit pointless to me. I think, or even have it on that one there. Mind you, going up through a Rouge, you probably wouldn't want it. It's a tough one. It's something to do with the speed that the cars are able to go. And Swanton then manoeuvring his way up into P3 and back in the podium positions. As a comfortable, easy move for the Haas driver. Managed to catch quite a lot of his overtakes this evening, which I'm sure he'll be pretty pleased about. We'll go down to Marksvey now and his battle with HJ Styles, the other Haas now. And HJ Styles manoeuvring his car into the middle of the track, but it is Marksvey who does make the move, and he makes the move stick. Marksvey now up into P9, and he'll now start trying to pursue Sainsy 93, who is leading the way in the Pro-Am side of things. So Sainsy probably won't be that concerned about Marksvey. He'll be more concerned about HJ Styles, who behind him, more than Marksvey. HJ Styles and Sainsy pretty much on the same tyre strategy from the looks of things. In the meantime, Senna has managed to cut Jack's lead down to just over 2 seconds. He is absolutely flying at the moment and doing a really good job. He's got a good chance of going on and winning this Grand Prix. He has. And, if he can certainly keep up this pace, which he's looking solid. He really is. I wonder if Jack's tyres have already fallen off. Or it could just be a case that Senna is really putting his foot down here. Smug gets still out on those hards, which is proving that they can do incredibly long stints, especially bearing in mind just as I'm speaking, he's diving into the pits. So he's going to have 20 laps or so, I'm guessing, on the mediums, and do a one-stop strategy, of course. His 20 laps on the mediums will be significantly better than previous drivers' 20 laps on the mediums, given that the fuel load is going to be significantly less. I just hope that people haven't underfueled today. I think the last race I commented on a couple of drivers underfueled, which really cost them. It'll be interesting to see where Smugget comes back out. He's going to come out behind the 2 McLarens. It's going to be a difficult task then now for him to overtake Finley and our new running on 20-lap-old hards. Surprised to see him dive into the pits at some stage as well to throw in another set of mediums. HJ Styles and Marksvey battling it out really hard here, but Marksvey just about retaining the position from HJ Styles, just about keeping it there and on track as well. It was what a harsh battle between the pair of them, but both cars have thankfully come out unscathed. And DRS time picking up a 3-second time penalty. I'm sure he'll be absolutely raging about that in their group chat, which I think actually has 11 drivers in it, which is over half the grid tonight, which is absolutely incredible. And Senna is on an absolute mission here, and he's right behind Jack Daniels now. He's doing an absolutely splendid job out there once again. He is right behind him now. He's now in the DRS zone. I mean, he was what, 5 seconds behind him earlier on? He is absolutely flying. Jax must now be thinking, what have I got to do to win this Grand Prix? He's had a big old battle with Swanson. He's just about to have a big old battle with Senna. HJ Styles picking up a second 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings once again. I just wonder if, though, Senna's better off just staying with Jax rather than overtaking him. I only say that because Senna will most likely run to the end, I would have thought now. Whereas Jax has got a pit. I think Jax on the 2-stopper may have thrown this out, unless there is a safety car. Of course, if there is a safety car, it changes absolutely everything. So we'll just have to wait and see on that side of things. In the meantime, we'll go down to Al New. So I probably just missed the best part. I thought he was going to have DRS available to him, but that's not going to be the case. These two are definitely having the closest battle. Thankfully, it's for P1 as well, which certainly makes it more interesting this evening. So we're over halfway through now. The battle is on now for P1 between Senna and Jax Daniels, with Swanton not too far behind on fresher hards. I think he may have left it too long though, Swanton. I really do. For the pit stop. I think Senna's got every opportunity now if he can get Jax here. They're both going to be running that battery at maximum, but Senna will have that DRS available to him. Will Senna take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix here this evening? DRS activated, battery in full flow. I don't think he's going to have enough here. He's going to try and go down the outside. Oh my goodness me, there is contact. There is contact. But I think both cars are okay, thankfully. But Senna has certainly lost out the most there. I think he went for the move, and I think that maybe, perhaps it just wasn't quite on this lap. I just hope that hasn't shredded his tyres there, because he had to brake very hard and very late. I hope that won't have a lasting effect, because obviously he's got to see these tyres through to the very end. We all love a good battle, but sometimes I think you've just got to be a little bit more... I can't think of the word. I can't think of the word. Yeah, maybe patient. Maybe just patient. Sometimes you've got to be a little bit more patient in your approach work. That might just be the scenario there. What you've got to remember, Senna, is that Jax will have to pit again. He's got no choice. He's used 2 sets of mediums, so he's got no choice. He will have to pit at some stage. Those there, perhaps he's worried about a late onslaught from this man here, DRS Swanton. All I would say for Senna is that he just wants to stay in that 1 second bracket. I think he will do that again. I think he'll just manoeuvre his way a little bit further back, though. Michael JFF having another really good battle with Alex Pixie then out on track. These two have been really good to watch this evening. And it's once again the Pro-Am's leading the way on that side of things. A really good job from all of them alongside these 3 up here. Senna this time not making the move. That's wisely so. But as I said, perhaps he's just a little bit worried about this man getting all that time back on him. Which he's certainly starting to edge into it. It was 7.5 seconds not too long ago. It's now down to just over 6. Now it's down to just under 6. Perhaps he's a little bit concerned about that, and perhaps he's got every right to be concerned about that. There's a 4 laps difference on the tyres. That could play dividends at the end of this Grand Prix. We'll go down to Marksvie. Marksvie's cut that gap on Sainsey. So I don't think Sainsey would be overly concerned about Marksvie. I'm sure he'd like to finish in P7, but P1 in the Pro-Am is what it's all about for Sainsey this year, as he chases that maiden Pro-Am championship. He's been in the league since day 1, and he fully deserves it. Marksvie then runs very, very wide and will lose some time on him there. Jax Daniels is diving into the pits then. He must feel as if those mediums have fallen off a cliff. He's got absolutely no chance now of putting on softs. I think he's going to have to put on hards here, which he is. I think that's cost him a race win. I really do. I think that's cost him a race win. I think Senna and Swanton now will be battling it out for P1. Don't get me wrong, I think Jax will certainly get a podium finish. But I think it will now be a straight battle between Senna and Swanton. I don't think the hards fall off that quickly. Smuggy, he ran them for 22 laps, or yeah, I think it was 22 laps. And of course, was on a full tank of fuel. They will easily do 26, I would have thought, easily. 26, 27, something along them lines now. Well, having said that, Senna's got 14 laps left to run, so he's got to hope they can easily do 28 laps. Swanson will try and push them through up to 24. I tell you what, he is starting to close that gap. On Senna ahead of him. Marksby now right behind Sainsy once again, even after coming off track. I wonder if Sainsy will have to pit again. 15 lap old hards. They'll be 29 laps old by the end of the Grand Prix. I wonder if he'll get to sort of lap 30, 36 and dive in for the softs. I suppose it would just depend on how they feel. He's just got to keep HJ Styles behind him, really. That's the main competitor. The Pro-Am, perhaps see if you can just keep them going. Not too many battles out on track at the moment. And Lord Coleman now deciding to dive into the pits. I presume he'll probably be chucking on a set of mediums now with 15 laps or so left to run. Got to be, isn't he, surely? Yeah, the medium tyres for Lord Coleman. He's going to be fast. Be surprised to see him get the fastest lap of the race. Sainsy doing exactly the same now. He'll be diving into the pits and throwing on another set of mediums. I think it's a good call from the Red Bull Visa driver. It's a very good call indeed. I think it's the only one he could really make. Having said that, it looks as if he's put on the wrong tyres and he's going for another set of hards. Yeah, that could prove costly. Yeah, I don't think that was what he wanted to do. I think he's thrown on the wrong set of tyres. Surely he would throw in another set of hards if you've got a set of mediums available that can definitely do 15 laps. I think he's thrown on the wrong set there. I think that might prove a little. Well, he'll be hoping that doesn't prove costly. I think HJ Stars will have to pit again. Of course, he does have plenty of penalties as well. Let's have a look, see what he's got here. Penalty scenario. We've got 3 for Coleman, 3 for Smug-Git, 6 for HJ Styles, 3 for Ty, 3 for Simon, 3 for Michael JFF, and Al Newton in the meantime has managed to manoeuvre his way around 50 gent. That is for P17 and P16 respectively. Let's then go up to Marksby then and his now pursuit of Daniel Morris. Marksby on newer tyres than Morris, but Marksby does seem to be coming off the track quite a bit here, so I'd imagine those tyres are perhaps not as good as what he'd hope. To Jack Daniels now, he's just over 9 seconds behind the Swanton. Jack Daniels setting the new fastest lap of the race, 1:46.139. Let's have a look at everyone else's. Yeah, that is quite a bit faster than anyone else's best lap time, so he will be on a charge. We've got 14 laps or so left to go, and I think he's edging about just over half a second a lap faster, maybe closer to a second than half a second. He should bring himself back into contention from the looks of things, especially if Senna's tyres start to dip and fall off a cliff, which they certainly could well do. In the meantime, I think it's Alex Pixie diving into the pits, as does Project Ty. Project Ty now coming out on a set of fresh, hard compound tyres. It's Alex Pixie going to go for, I presume, probably the medium tyre. Sainsy in the meantime now back up to P10. 10 seconds behind HJ Stars, who will surely, though, have to pit again. And then as well, HJ Stars does have a 6-second worth of time penalties accrued against his name as well. Let's go down to Lord Coleman in his battle now with Daniel Morris in the Ferrari. Certainly looks quicker. He's going to be a hell of a lot quicker, especially on fresh mediums. Daniel Morris here is a little bit of a sitting duck out there. Just defend for as long as possible, I presume. Ooh, he's getting very, very close behind him. Lord Coleman. Is he going to make the move down the outside? It's going to be very nip and tuck here. There is contact. But Lord Coleman does take the position from Daniel Morris, and it moves himself up into P5. There is no DRS down this section of the track, so he might just about get himself clear. Jack Daniels sending another new fastest lap of the race, a 1:46.0 dead. I think he's going to be able to catch up here. If he can keep this sort of pace up, which certainly something Jax can do, I think he's going to be able to catch up here. He's going to be able to put the pressure on. He is looking rapid out there. The current DRS world champion. He is looking incredibly, incredibly fast. Let's go down to Central Finley now and his battle with DRS Syme. DRS Syme certainly not having the race of his life, and HJ Styles pitting now. That'll please Sainsy. Finley, though, I tell you what, Finley's not that far behind Sainsy, you know. He's only just over 4 seconds. Finley, though, with a 3-second time penalty, that may well just kill his chances of getting P1 in the Pro-Am. He's going to be quicker here than Syme, though, I feel. Yeah, and look at him, he's rapido down that straight. And Central Finley moves himself up into P10 on those medium compound tyres. Sainsy's got to try and keep him behind for as long as possible and hope those mediums start to grain. I suspect around lap 12, well, lap 37, should we say, those mediums will start to maybe just eke off a little bit, and the hards of Sainsy's will perhaps start to come into their own towards the later echelons of this race. Let's go up to Mark Svee and his pursuit of Daniel Morris. He's remaining in the DRS zone, but not really able to make too many inroads. Morris on 16 lap old hards, not as old as Senna's. Senna keeping that gap the same. And in the meantime, Daniel Morris does decide to go dive into the pits. We've got 12 laps to go. What will he throw on? Will it be a set of softs or will it be a set of mediums? I would presume probably mediums, yeah. It's definitely going to be mediums here. Nobody, apart from Centra Finley, randomly enough went for the mediums at the start. I'm guessing there was a time penalty scenario for Daniel Morris. I don't think he had a front wing change. Maybe he did. Not too sure. Couldn't see it. Right then, let's move away from Daniel Morris and Mark Svee. Let's go down to Al Newt now and his pursuit of HJ Styles. Al Newt on medium tyres. Should be quicker than the rookie HJ Styles, who's certainly not driving like a rookie, that's for sure. He's been really good this evening. HJ Styles in the meantime as well, making the move on Michael JFF. It's a really good move, that one, to HJ Styles. Al Newt will be targeting Michael JFF next, but he has gone very, very wide there, off into the gravel. Hopefully, though, nothing too major. Daniel Morris now all the way down in P14. It was either a new wing or a 10-second time. I didn't see a 10-second time penalty, though, so it must have been a new wing. It just seemed very, very slow. Unless something didn't work for him on his controller or steering wheel or something, which, of course, can happen. Swanton then remaining about the same sort of distance from Senna. It's just under 5 seconds. Jax Daniels just under 5 seconds behind Swanton as well. Jax has got to get 10 seconds back on Senna. That's quite a big ask with just 11 laps left to go. I wonder how those hard tyres are feeling for Senna. 19 laps old. Our old tyres. Look at these positional changes, and so Senna up 4, Swanton down 1, Jax down 1. The sloths remaining the same. It's been a good solid race from him. Coleman down up 1. Marksby down 3. Smuggit now up 12 positions. Great drive from him this evening. Sainsy up 1. Centra Finley up 8. Syme up 10. Styles down 3. Morris down 2. Ty remaining the same. Michael JFF up 1. Al Newt down 8. 50 Gent down 2. Pixie down 5. And Easy Life down 2. So really, Smuggit and Simon got to be on for driver of the day. I mean, that's a lot of positional gains. But then I presume it's kind of expected, isn't it, bearing in mind that they are pro drivers. Of course, Syme being a previous champion, DRS champion. It was a couple of seasons ago, maybe 3 seasons ago. So, yeah, that is kind of expected in a sense. But Swanton starting to lose a little bit of ground now on... Jax is starting to get back a little bit of time on Swanton. It's now just under 3.5 seconds now. Swanton still remaining about the same behind Senna. It is very, very nip and tuck, very, very close. Look at the penalty scenario. Law Coleman on 3 seconds. Smug-Git on 3 seconds. Marksby on 3 seconds as well. He's chasing down Smug-Git now. Finley on 3 seconds. Syme on 3 seconds. Styles on 6. Ty on 3. Michael JFF on 3. And Easy Life on 6. Central Finley hasn't really made any sort of inroad on Sainsey in the battle for P1 in the Pro-Am side of things. And of course, with that 3-second penalty hanging over his head as well, I'd be shocked now unless something happens to Sainsey. It's got to be Sainsey's Pro-Am win, isn't it? I think the main battle now is that all-important battle for P1. Daniel Morris setting that new fastest lap of the race, a 1:45.832. That's a really good lap time from the Ferrari Pro driver, who is now up into P12 as well. Great lap time from him. Jax Daniels nearly has cut Swanton's lead to just under 3 seconds. We've got 10 laps left to go. It's now under 3 seconds. I'd be surprised if Jax is able to catch Senna. I think he'll catch Swanton, but it'll be a reasonable fight between the two of them. Sloss will be sitting there hoping and praying that something happens between the pair of them and he can jump up and move into that important podium position. Lord Coleman will be thinking much the same. Maybe Jax has made the right move, maybe not. I mean, Swanton's not really cutting Senna's lead at all here at the moment. Actually, both their sets of tyres are perhaps starting to fall off. Jax Daniels now cutting that lead down to just 2 seconds. He's getting very, very close. He's now about 7 seconds behind Senna. I think it's still too much to catch up Senna, the leader, unless something, of course, happens. But I'll be surprised now if he doesn't catch Swanton. Let's move up to Daniel Morris then, who's going to make the move into the final chicane and makes that move stick. Daniel Morris overtaking Syme and it moves up into P11. It just has not been Syme's race today. He had a shocking qualifying, and although he's jumped up quite a few positions, he won't be happy with P12, that's for sure. Let's go up the grid. Let's go back to Jax Daniels again. Look how close this is now. It's starting to bunch up. He's really putting the pedal to the metal. He's now got that lead down to just under a second. Al Newt with the new fastest lap of the race, a 1:44.930. A good lap time from the McLaren driver, and that will, believe that gives him an extra point. I think that's still the case. I think Swanton's going to really struggle to defend here against Jax Daniels, who's on much, much fresher tyres here. His rears were squealing, though, through the last part of that lap. Jax Daniels running a little bit wide there. This is going to be a decent battle between the pair of them. Jax will not only have battery available to him, but he will have the DRS as well. If he can get a much better exit through a Rouge, which it's looking like he has got the tail end of Swanton here. Swanton will have plenty of battery, but Jax is going to have DRS and battery. Jax moves himself up into P2. Swanton's now has got to do his damnedest to stay within DRS range so that he can maybe mount an attack on lap 37. Senna is now going to be hoping and praying that his tyres don't fall off a cliff or that Jax potentially makes a mistake. We've got 8 laps to go. It's just under 5 seconds between the pair of them. There's 16 laps difference in tyre ages. It's going to be a close one. I thought Jax had made a mistake, but maybe he's made the correct call. We've got 8 laps left to go. It's going to be a really intriguing last 8 laps. And Baz was saying Jax has done amazing to close that gap. He's pushed it to its absolute limits, I think, which might have had an effect on those tyres. As I said, Swanton's got to stay within range of Jax here. And if that means using a reasonable amount of battery in certain parts of the track that he wouldn't do, then he may well just do that. We'll stick with this battle for the time being. It's certainly the most intriguing one. I suppose what will please Senna is that these two will be battling, and that may affect their race. Senna, though, does look as if he's got a little bit of traffic up ahead of him. And it is his Red Bull teammate, Michael JFF, which might actually help him, you know. That might give him DRS down the straight. I'll just stick with it for the time being. Yeah, it will. That is going to help massively. That is going to help Senna out somewhat there. Swanton will have DRS available to him now, but I think he's just too far behind. I think he's going to have enough. No, he's able to close that gap, but it's not enough here to close that gap enough on Jax Daniels to even attempt to make a manoeuvre. Jax Daniels at the moment has P2 wrapped up, stone sealed and delivered. He'll be pushing hard for P1 now. He's just over 4 seconds now, just under 4 seconds behind Senna. Senna had some real good help there from his teammate Michael JFF, who was able to give him DRS on the last lap. I wonder if they'll be able to do the same on this one. I don't know. Be a little bit of team play here. If they do, they do. It's just it's part of it. In fact, it makes it a hell of a lot more interesting in all fairness. So Lord Coleman now not far behind the Sloth, but does have, I think it's 3 or is it 6? It's 3 seconds worth of penalties hanging over his head. I think he was a little bit concerned about picking up number 6 there, because he brought that car back in rather quickly. And that long sweeping left-hander. It's the curse of many drivers around here. Most of them tend to pick up their time penalties. Trying to go as fast as possible through that sweeping left-hander, and often or not, you end up going far too wide. Jax now has cut that lead down to just 3 seconds. This is going to be incredibly tight with just 6 laps left to go. I'd be shocked now if he doesn't do it. I'd be shocked now. I think he's just got too much pace. The tyres are too fresh. I'd be shocked. I'd be very shocked. Swanton not able to keep up with him. He's on fresher tyres than what Jax is on. So, sorry, he's fresher tyres than what Senna is on. Unless the two Red Bulls, maybe they are working together here. Something seems to be going on anyway. Yeah, I mean, Michael JFF, in all fairness to him, he is on a fresh set of softs, so that could be why they're together still. If that is the case, that is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that is really good sportsmanship from the two Red Bull drivers. Yeah, certainly makes it very, very good watching. Daniel Morris, in the meantime, has worked his way round Centra Finley and moves himself up into P9. I suspect that'll be as high as he goes this evening. He's on the way back from Sainsey, just over 7 seconds behind him. So, yeah, I don't think he'll be catching that in a hurry somehow. So the gap still remaining at 2.5 seconds. Senna has allowed Michael JFF back in front of him to use that DRS. I think it's pretty good. I think it's, if it pays off, it's brilliant. It's still at 2 seconds. Well, now it's just under 2 seconds. Jax is incredibly fast through Sector 1. That's where he seems to gain it all. Senna, again, will have that DRS available to him once more. That makes a hell of a difference down this pit lane straight. It's still 2 seconds. This is intriguing to watch. I haven't seen this done before. I mean, it's very, very clever. You can't fault it on that side of things. I think in the meantime as well, Sainsey's getting really, really close to Marksby for P7. Of course, Marksby does have, is it 3 seconds worth of penalties as well? Let's have a look. 3 seconds worth of penalties. Yes, it is. 3 seconds. So Sainsey at the moment will move up into P7, but he will remain P1 in Pro-Am. There'll be no changes there. It's 1.5 seconds now, but we've still got 5 laps left to go. I still think Senna's a bit of a sitting duck here. I really do. sadly, for Senna. Obviously, it's amazing news for Jax Daniels, and he's raced absolutely wonderfully here. Michael JFF has now given up the ghost, as they say. And it's now going to be a straight-out battle between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. It's Verstappen versus Hamilton all over again from those few seasons ago. Will Hamilton and now Senna be able to hang on to this lead? I think he's toast, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be really difficult for him. Really, really difficult. Jax is going to have DRS available to him. He is absolutely flying. Absolutely flying. Now, there's no shame in losing to a fella that's absolutely flying like Jax is. He's doing magnificent out there. So here he goes then, Jax for the lead of the Grand Prix. No, he's decided to back out for the time being. He's going to wait one more lap before potentially making that move. Senna now needs to just harvest, and get as much ERS as possible for the next lap's attack. He's also going to hope those hards don't grain off too much. I mean, now he's going to be fighting for position. I can't remember how old they are, but they are old, aren't they? Yeah, 26 laps old. I estimated they could do probably about 26. Bearing in mind the fuel load change, I'd imagine they're going to be too good now. Sainty, in the meantime, moving up to P7, out on track. I mean, he most likely would have gained it through penalties for Marksby, but he is now up into P7. And Centra Finley as well, moving his way. Oh no, Finley and Stiles are having a bit of a battle here. We will go and see it. And Stiles does retain the position, but I think he has got more penalties. Yeah, he has. He's got 3 seconds worth more of penalties than Finley. So in theory, Finley does have the position. Jax Daniels right behind Senna now. Senna's done absolutely fantastically today. Of course, he started in P5 as well. He's led for most of this Grand Prix, him and Swanton. But I think this race is now likely to go to Jax Daniels. He's done a smashing job. And Jax Daniels, is he going to take the lead of the Grand Prix? It is very, very close between the pair of them. There is contact as well, but Jax runs wide. But Jax does take the lead of this Grand Prix. Senna battles as hard as he could. Senna has now retaken the lead of the Grand Prix. I'm getting confused with the Red Bull cars out on track, but Senna is now back in the lead of the Grand Prix. I'm guessing Jax may have yielded the position. Perhaps he felt like he was in the wrong. I don't really think anyone was in the wrong there. I think it was good, honest, hard racing. I don't think anyone was actually in the wrong, but it looked to me as if Jax yielded the position back to Senna, which, if he felt that he was in the wrong, it's the right thing to do. I personally don't see that. I think it was just a racing incident. I think they both went for it. And, a bit of a tussle. Bit of handbags, but nothing too major. Marksby then, in the meantime, picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings once again. I think that now puts him on 6, does it? Or is that 9 now? Could actually be 9. Let's have a look. No, it is just a 6 for Marksby then. So we might as well move off the tyre scenarios now. We all know what tyres everyone's got. Let's stick on the penalties now from now to the end of the race. Al Newt setting another fastest lap of the race, a 1:44.318. I'm pretty sure he already had the fastest lap anyway, didn't he? Pretty sure that was the case. But he's just cementing that position of the fastest lap. We've got just 2 laps left to go here in Spa, Belgium. It's been another magnificent Grand Prix from the DRS family. We've lost 2 drivers. J-Lo Field on lap 1, sadly for him. Yellow flags out in Sector 2. Mr. Pickle as well. We've lost him. This time, Jax Daniels, will he make the move stick? He's going to go down the outside. Oh, it's a quick sweep across, but he does make the move stick. Will he now be able to retain it? I think he's going to have far too much grip for Senna to contend with through Sector 2. And now wouldn't be surprised to see Jax just pull away now, sadly for Senna, in what would be Jax's 2nd Grand Prix win of the season. and that would increase his lead at the top of the championship. He's going for 2 in a row in the championship. He's nearly 9/10 ahead of Senna already. Yeah, 9/10 clear now. So I think, in theory, unless there's a late mistake from Jax, I think this race is probably over. I think it's going to be Jax first in P1. He's done fantastic. He really has. He's had to work hard for it as well, especially going for the 2-stopper strategy. It looks as if Senna's going to be taking home P2, Swanton taking home P3. I think he'll actually be a little bit disappointed with his race. He led through the first sort of 20-25% of the Grand Prix. But then I think he just pitted too late. Really do. I think he pitted too late. I think he lost a lot of time on those mediums towards the back end. One stage, I think he was running about 3 seconds a lap slower than Jax. Of course, Jax was on fresh medium, so that would make sense, I suppose, on that side of things. But yeah, Lord Coleman looks as if he's going to come home in P4, even with that 3-second time penalty. He's 6 seconds clear of the slot in P5. Smug, it definitely looks like he's going to come home in P6. He's got to be up there as my driver of the day. I think both him and Jax Daniels and Sainsey, I think have got to be up there. I think Jax has done fantastic. I really do. I think it's been a real solid drive from him. Sainsey as well. I think he's done absolutely magnificent. It looks as if he's going to pick up P1 in the Pro-Am and a P7 out on track, which is really, really good. He'll be really, really happy with that. It looks as if Central Finley's going to pick up P2 in the Pro-Am just because of HJ Styles' penalty scenario. He's got 6 seconds. Central Finley's got 3. Something happens on the last couple of laps, I'm pretty sure that is going to be the case. But yeah, Senna now falling further behind, 1.8 seconds now, sadly for him. Some really good, interesting stuff with his teammate Michael JFF, who was on the soft compound tyres, and he was giving Senna DRS for about 4 laps, I think it was, and it was really good to watch. I must admit, it makes it a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? You know, you see that team ethos really burning through. So it makes it more interesting, doesn't it? I think it was really good to see. Daniel Morrison, in the meantime, he might be able to gain a position here on Sainsey. No, he's going to pick up a 3-second time penalty. That sweeping left-hand turn is an absolute killer for drivers. I mean, Sainsey will most definitely pick up P7 out on track. So Jax Daniels then on his final lap. DRS time pick up another 3-second time penalty. That's now 6 seconds in total for him. He may come under a bit of a late threat from Marksby for P12. I don't think Simon will be overly concerned with P12. If I'm being honest, he's certainly better than P12. Sadly for him today, hasn't quite come up trumps. Not like he did last week in his win. Daniel Morris then pushing hard to get P7 out on track in the hope that Sainsey might pick up a 3-second time penalty. I don't think that's going to be the case. If you look out on track, it's only Al Newts, 50 Gen, Alex Pixie, Sainsey, The Sloth, Swanton, Senna and Jax who haven't picked up penalties this evening. So fair play to them. I think they've done a really good job. But to conclude then, in terms of driver of the... Oh, I'll tell you what, we will actually go back down to the battle between Daniel Morris and Sainsey. It's very, very nick and tuck between the pair of them. Let's hope there's no contact here. Sainsey's pushed very, very wide. I think it was more of a racing thing again. I think there was enough room left. Sainsey really needed to battle too hard. Just got to stick close to him now. Stick within that 3-second remit. Too much, he'll still pick up P7. So Jax Daniels then, ladies and gentlemen, will cross the line, claiming P1 for the 2nd time this season. Senna crosses the line in P2, Swanton in P3. Lord Coleman will take P4 as and when he comes round. Not too sure where he is at on track. Here he comes now, the Aston Martin. He will take P4, even with a 3-second time penalty. That's a fabulous, fabulous drive from him this evening. As well, we'll have a quick look at the positional changes very quickly. We'll just quickly put that up on screen. DRS Smug get up 12 positions. What a phenomenal drive from him. It is really, really top draw stuff. So Sloth coming home in P5, a great race from him. Smugget P6. And Daniel Morris will come home in P7 out on track, but with that 3-second time penalty ensuing, it means Sainsy will cross the line in P7. HJ Styles will cross the line in P9, but I think he's going to be demoted down to P10. He certainly is. Centra Finley will then take P2 in the Pro-Am side of things. Then we have Project Ty, who will come home in P11. Let's see if there's any positional changes there due to penalties. Nope. Syme comes home in P12. Marksby, P13. He'll be really disappointed with that Grand Prix, especially bearing in mind he started the race from P3. He'll certainly not be happy with that whatsoever. I'm guessing he must have lost the front wing or something, or just got the setup wrong, or something along those lines anyway. Alex Pixie coming home in P14. 50 Gent in P15. Alex Pixie then he takes P4 in the Pro-Am. HJ Styles will take P3 in the Pro-Am. 50 Gent will take P5 in the Pro-Am. He won't be too happy with that, I don't think. Missed out the last bit. I'll do it again in just a second. What a win for Jackson. That was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It was a two-stop strategy as well, which, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think was going to work, but fresh tyres at the end, it just absolutely obliterated the rest of the field. He just blasted his way through. And not only that, but he's I think he's the fastest driver out on track at the moment. I really do. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And he seems to have got that consistency level going as well. And I think that's really helped him. I don't actually think we're going to get the final grid standing here, because it doesn't seem to be. Oh, there we go. That's an interesting character maneuver on Jax Daniels. So we have Jax Daniels up there, Senna and Swanton rounding out the top three. And of course, they are the top three currently in the driver's standings as well. Senna and Swanton swapping positions in the driver's standings, but Jax is leading the way and increases his lead even further now. It is looking likely that he may just retain that championship for the second season in a row. From somebody who was racing in the Pro-Am for a season, didn't really want to get promoted, then was promoted, and then the following season went on to win the pro driver's standings. And it looks like he's going to do it 2 seasons running. That was really, really strong performance from him. Still a lot of racing left to go, but he's looking very, very fast indeed. Very, very fast. So that brings us to the end of this 5th Grand Prix in the DRS Championship. I'd like to thank you all for joining me this evening, and congratulations to Jax Daniels, Senna and Swanton for rounding out the top 3, and of course Sainsy 93 for winning the Pro-Am side of things as well. Thank you very much for all of you for joining me this evening. I've been King Kong 1471, and hopefully I'll see you this time next week. Take care. Goodbye.